Hey everybody, my name is Darcel Edwards. I am the founder and CEO of Blink Social. Today we have our LinkedIn virtual event. And our first speakers of the day is a community organization called Brilliance In Black. Would you guys like to tell the people about your guys' organization, what you guys do, who you guys are? And then I'll start to ask more questions from there. But I'm happy to have you guys. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Okay. Hey, I am Kiana Ebene from Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm Karima Simone. I'm from Georgia, but I live in Boston, Massachusetts right now.
And I'm Nicole, and I'm from Jersey.
And we are Brilliance in Black. Yay!
We should have did that in unison.
Oh, okay.
I know.
1, 2, 3. Brilliance in Black. We are an organization that promotes and supports the positive things happening in the Black community. We started in 2015. We really just happened. It started with a group of six best friends from the illustrious Howard University. HU. Yeah, we were just friends that used to talk about what was going on in the world, and at some point it was like our breaking point, and we were like, we need to promote the positive things, because all we see in the media is negative, and you know that takes a toll on your mental psyche and all of that. So we came up with Brilliance in Black.
Because this was around the time when the churches were burning, right?
Yeah, churches were burning. Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, all of that was happening. And, you know, girls got their group chats and we chatting, but everything was like, what's going on in the media? Yeah. So then at some point we were like, let's just start posting positive things. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't have a business name.
We should tell them the secret, right? So Brilliance really came from this, but also from one idea, one event that we all wanted to do, right? Yeah. So we all wanted to, like, we were talking about how like prom is so different now, and we were like, we would need to do prom over again. Yes. Like at this rate, because the way we did prom back in the day was nothing like how people do prom now. Like makeup artists and hair, we had lip gloss and we was going. And so we was like that idea coupled with our you know, it's a group chat, so all of our conversations, we were like, we should put on a big event where we showcase like a lot of Black talent, Black businesses, kind of like Rihanna's Diamond, like with the class level of Rihanna's Diamond Ball, but like focused around Black everything. And that's like, that event was like, oh, we should actually dive deeper and like create a platform for people, and that's really how Brilliance came about.
And then it like really grew from there, because we all have our own personal journeys that we're going through. Like she's a writer, she's a dancer, and I like to do film. So we were like, okay, we like to do our own personal things. What about all the people in the world that, you know, like to do their things? They don't really have like the platform or the chance to really show it. So we wanted to be able to give that to them as well.
And we were also, at the time, we're in so many different cities. Because, you know, like, you know, you go to LA, you go to New York City, that's where you can make it. But like Baltimore, she's from Atlanta, but she's in Boston now. You know, I'm in Jersey. Another one of our co-founders is in Jersey. We had Chicago, and another co-founder of ours, she's from California, but she was in DC. So we felt like we had like cover a lot of the big urban cities, or where big populations of Black people are, to be able to give those platforms. So it was like just the perfect idea for us. And then Brilliance in Black, and here we are.
Why is it important, especially coming from the Mecca, and like you just pointed out, with there being so many different Black people from different places, why is it so important to highlight Blackness? And because a lot of people, they just think Black people are all the same. So why is it important to highlight like the diversity within our culture?
So first of all, we were at Howard, and yes, it's an HBCU, but there's so many different cultures, right? All Black people are not a monolith. So you have your Southern, you have your, you know, inner city, you have all different type of Black people. And there's no way, there's an umbrella, black, and then under it, there's everything, so it's really important that people in general see that, because in the media, you get one version of black, on the TV, you get one version of black. You get a TV show and it's one black girl, it's one black man, but there's so many different types of blackness, there's not just one way to be black.
But I think you kind of answered the question also, what you said, when you're like, most people think that is one way, and that's literally the reason, because that is what most people think, and that's not the truth. And so we just wanted to be a part of that conversation, a part of showcasing the diversity.
Okay. So in the last couple of months, really since like March, the country has been hit with a pandemic, with a lot of social injustice things going on with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. How has Brilliance in Black been holding up through these times? Because it hasn't been easy. So how have you guys been holding up through this?
I mean, it definitely hasn't been easy, but I would say we've been holding it up pretty well.
Yeah.
Especially since that's like how we started. We started when there was a bunch of negative stuff in the news, and we wanted to change the narrative and like highlight all of the positive that's happening in the Black community, because there's a lot. It's definitely bigger than the negative that's happening. So I feel like this was just another chance for us to like really.
Yeah, because that fight for racial equality was our driving force. Yeah. So when we see it still, it's frustrating that 5 years later, we're still singing the same song, but there have been changes. There has been steps moving forward. So it just keeps pushing us. We did have a plan we did a Baltimore Black Wall Street Festival, which is a festival of Black-owned businesses. And we had a plan to start traveling that this summer. So that, with Corona and everything, that kind of came to a halt. But we started doing our Brilliance in Black Network, or BIBTV. And so we're able to promote small businesses through our TV network. So we weren't able to do our festivals. We'll get back to that when things are settled, but we're still able to do, get to the core of who we are and what we do.
Yeah, and I think as terrible as the time it is, it actually, I hate to say it like that, but I feel like we've done well because of the unfortunate events, because one thing that it did do was turn a lot of the big population towards Black-owned businesses. So before, people who were already on that type of wave, or maybe were raised like that, like Kiana was always raised like as a little girl, like going to Black-owned businesses and stuff like that. So that was a normal thing. But with the conversation, everything that was going on, it became like an intentional for the mass population. And so it was almost like, not great, but like great in the sense that we were able to supply, because on our website we have a directory of like Black-owned businesses from everywhere, in every category. So like we would see like on Twitter and Instagram, like, where can I find Black-owned skin products? Where can I go get Black-owned coffee? Like, and we were like, whoop, Brilliance in Black directory, just go right on in there. And so if anything, we became a bigger asset to people.
Yeah,
there you go. People's eyes were starting to open up, and we were right here, like,
we're here already.
Like, hey, so
our numbers jumped, like our website views jumped over 2,000%. So it really, it was a good thing for us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
mentioned it like being a huge increase. Like, since all these times, do you feel like that is just going to be a trend, or do you think that people are going to continue to support? And how do you think people just looking at it as just a trend, as like, oh, like, I'm frustrated with what's going on, and everybody's saying let's buy Black, let's do that, but like you guys said, this stuff has been going on since 2015, since longer than that, really. But social media years, it's been going on since 2015, 2014, and then like people are frustrated, and then it kind of dies off. So on the business side of things, like you guys are getting a lot of support now. How do you guys anticipate it not being a trend?
I think the key to not making these moments a trend is accessibility. So I truly, and I may just be naive, but I feel like people will support Black businesses when they know of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So many times people hit me up like, do you know of a Black-owned beauty supply? And I'm like, actually, I do. You know, and it may be out of the way. You know, there's one on every corner, but it's Black-owned, so we're going to go and support that. So I think when people know of these opportunities or these businesses or whatever the case may be, they are more inclined to support. So I think right now, yes, it's a trend, but once you get it in your mind, or once you start, you know, making it a habit, it becomes first nature, where you're just gonna automatically, like right now we're on a vacation and it's like, okay, is there a Black-owned business around? Not any around here, but you know, that's the first thing we looked for. And I think once you know of, and even because we're just so used to just going, there's a Walmart right there, there's Giant right there, we're just gonna go. But then once you're like, okay, no, I'm gonna support this small business over here, I'm gonna support this Black-owned business over here. You know, once you start training your mind to think like that, it becomes natural to you. So it's a trend right now, but I have faith in our people. I have faith. I think we're going to stay strong.
I definitely.
We have faith. I mean, but also like trends will happen. There will be some that will fall off. It's just the way it is. But I think while that is a part of it, the other part of what is happening, a lot of people are realizing. So for those people that are realizing like, wow, I give so much of my money to other businesses. And, you know, for some people that is like something that they're like, oh, I need to, I'm going to make a different change. So the trend will, I guess, pass as trends do, but
it's a job to make sure it does.
Yeah. And consistency, like the fact, just like it went away, it'll come back. Hopefully not in that much of a tragic way,
right,
but it will come back. And I think us being consistent and being here is also a thing, because it was like when this was first, like the beginning of quarantine feels like 5 seasons right now. But like, and the George Floyd like first hit the news, friends that I hadn't even spoken to in like months or whatever were like, go to Brilliance In Black and look at their directory. And it was just like, wow, because I haven't had a real conversation with them in years, but because they know like we're consistent, we're always there, we're always making sure that we're available. Like she knew where to go, where to find it. And I think there will be a ton of people like that once the trend passes.
Okay, so what kind of like programs? I know you mentioned the TV network that you guys are doing. What exactly are you guys doing right now? That so when people come to Brilliance In Black, what can they find?
Wait,
I mean, it's a little hard with.
We can even talk about how you guys got to this point now, like what you guys have been doing up until this point, and what people can expect.
So our main thing, I think, was like kind of like networking, trying to connect people and their different talents. But I mean, it's kind of hard right now with the pandemic going on. So I guess the best thing that we can offer is a directory to try to connect people like online. And also to have, that's why we started our BIB TV, to show like the talents of the people that's creating these like short films and these documentaries and these like their ads for their individual businesses. So right now, I guess that's I want to say it's the best we can do. You don't want to put people's health in danger.
And most people are turning to social media anyway. Like a lot of people have found their creative gene in this quarantine. And so like, I think even like people are figuring out, small business owners, like, okay, how do I promote my business via social media And usually that's a video or commercial or a TikTok or something, and they can send that to BIBTV. We're gonna put it right on there. Commercial, like infomercial, whatever. Like, so I think that a lot of people are adapting to this, you know, the social media age, and we're doing the same since we can't do what we would normally do, physical, you know, events.
So we kind of got here. We started with like Instagram. Right. That was our thing. Our very first post was Serena Williams. She won something. She's won a lot. So
the Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam, yes. Yeah. She won. That was our very first post.
I have a good memory of it.
Yes. In 2015. And so we kind of just grew from there. And then we started our website. Because like I said, we didn't have a plan to be a business. So we kind of did things backwards. So we just started, right? So we had the Instagram, then we did our website. We started selling apparel, shirts. We got shorts, shoes. I don't know, a lot of things. Shoes. We got all of that. And so we started with that, and we would use those funds to do our events. And so with our events, we would use like small business owners, or if we knew somebody who does paintings, or we would do a sip and paint with them, or Brandon Copeland, he's the founder of Trap Yoga. We would do yoga events with him. So we did do a lot of what did you say?
We did a lot in the art scene.
Yeah, art scene, Arts for Justice. We had a bunch of different performing artists come together and you know, just give us their art from, you know, whatever they were feeling with what was going on around the world. So a lot of that, we took what we made to create events, help people start their own businesses. We've helped people create their poetry events and, you know, all those types of things like that. And that's how we really got our start. Then we jumped into the Black Wall Street Festival, which that was another thing that we were like, let's try it. Did it again. And then, you know, we were planning to tour it or whatever. And since we couldn't do that, someone actually reached out to us to start to do a channel on their TV network. And then it grew to, you know, we moved on and did our own TV network, where now, whether we're stuck in the house for another year, God forbid, we can still use our platform to do exactly what we were doing before, just not in the physical, on the, you know, social media and TV, internet thing. Yeah. So we've kind of just, we jumped in different forms. This is our current place.
Okay. So with everything that you guys have done, like, and especially with having multiple founders and just a large team, like, what has been some of the biggest obstacles that you guys have faced, like, over the time?
Obstacles. Where should we begin?
Let's just go down the line.
I feel like if you ask each of us individually, we might each give you a different answer. I would say time. I know I work with the news, so I know I work nights, so my sleep schedule is completely different from theirs. So, and I know I'm like extremely busy. She's extremely busy. She's busy. So just trying to get on the same schedule with our stuff to coordinate is difficult.
We haven't taken that leap of faith yet. We're on our way to just quit everything else,
our residential leaper,
and do this, right? We all have our own separate careers, because again, this wasn't planned. So, you know, we do what we do individually and love what we do individually. So it's kind of, you know, it's finding that balance, like she was saying. And then also not being versed on how to run a business. So I always tell people that ask or that I talk to, find a business advisor, someone that is doing something similar to what you're doing, and let them help guide you. Because we really did things backwards, and it worked out, you know, it works out, but this was not in our plan at all. It was literally, let's do something for our people, and it became something way bigger. We never talked about a TV network. Like, that that was never even on the list, the 20-year list, and it just jumped up and it's there, and we're here and we're doing it. So definitely get a business advisor. So us kind of just jumping in. I'm glad we took the leap, but of course now it's like, okay, let's fine tune the things to make this work smoothly.
Yeah.
And the last one, I was going to say was distance. We are all in different states, and especially now in Corona times when we're not really supposed to be traveling, and it's even harder to, see each other and plan and get to things. It's just like that creates an obstacle in itself, which is pretty straightforward, but I mean, everything has its pros and its cons. So us being in different cities and reaching different groups works, but sometimes it would really support us to be able to be in the same place.
So this is actually our first interview together. Usually it's like one person from here, one person from there. This is the first time that we just happened to be together the same time this was supposed to be. So it was like, okay, new beginning. This is, it's exciting. This is the first one. So you're getting an exclusive. Okay.
Social
extra listen all about
it. and with us all being Howard alum, it's all love. So like it's just like
absolutely.
That was God's intervention right there.
The illustrious.
So do you guys because I know a lot of people can get discouraged when starting a business. What advice would you give people to keep going?
Sorry. I don't.
Technical difficulties.
I don't even know how to work this.
I think you can. This is not it.
Okay. Well.
Ooh.
Put it back on the 2.
What?
Sorry, we have a. Okay.
Oh, she is our technical.
IT. Wait, where is she?
Saw us struggling and just did it.
To 2. Okay, we're back. Sorry. Wait, what was the question?
Ooh,
I'll be
discouraging. What would you give advice to people being discouraged? I listen.
Have a strong team. I am crazy. I come up with 20 ideas and I'm like, okay, let's do it. These two are like, okay, let's do it one at a time. Break it down. Let's start with A. Now steps 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think if we did not have each other, woo, so definitely have a strong team that if you're low, they're high. If they're high, they're low, you're high, whatever, where you can balance each other, check each other. And, people say don't go into business with your friends, but I think that was the best thing that I've ever done is to have my friends that I know we in this together. And at the end of the day, no matter what, we still going to be friends and we're going to make it work, Aww. So that's one.
Real small violin.
What else?
And I would say if you really want to do this, just not to let anything discourage you. And I love Will Smith, and he always talks about, you got to fail often.
Yeah.
And then just kind of accept that's going to be, you're going to run into failure quite often. And we have.
Yeah.
But you just can't let it discourage you. You got to keep moving, especially if this is something that you really want to do. Just don't let anything like that stop you.
And recognize it's bigger than you. Yeah. If we had to quit after our first fail, because it's not even a fail, it's just a lesson.
Yeah.
We would have been a disservice to so many people that we have helped over the years. We've had events with hundreds of people. We've had events where it was just us and the performers, But
we had a great time.
But had we stopped after that, we would have never known what we could do.
Yeah. Right. And I think perspective, obviously, expect to fail. Failure is a part of growth. If you don't fail, you won't be growing because you won't get the lesson that you need. Nothing is always up. That's just not life. So under that, and then also doing your homework. So we like we said, we started backwards, but a lot of the stuff that we figure out to do, we don't know how to do coming into, like, we didn't study this. No, right. She was a business major, but we were not. Okay.
Dancer.
And it's funny because even though she was a business major, like, she leads a lot of the, like, she's heading up a lot of stuff. This is our creative department in one embodiment. So it's just like, do your homework about, if it's something that if you're that dedicated, you're going to do it either way. But like, like, research, and then also be open to help. Like, nobody does anything on their own. They think so, but like, you take that advice, take that help, take that criticism. It will help you. It will all help you.
And don't be afraid to try things. Like, the person that reached out to us for the TV network, at first it was like, a TV network? Like, what we about to show? Well, we don't even have a YouTube.
Are we going to be performing?
Right. But we were like, hey, let's try it.
Yeah.
And now here we are. So really just go for it. Yes. That's the key. Go for it. Just
y'all
try
should see our email when they're like, are you going to play our episode today? We're like, absolutely, we will. And it's like, we would have never thought that's where, we would be playing other people's work that they put their blood, sweat, and tears in, and they want, like, that's an honor for us that they want to showcase it on our platform. So just being open, studying. I'm the reader here, so I'm like, what is the books that we're going to read to personally develop as a group? And, we can do Audible or we can read the book, but it's corny, but you need to do that to grow. So,
and you really never know who you're gonna inspire. Like, even if you do feel like you fail, because like one of our first events, it was Art for Justice, and we always discuss with each other after our events, and we were like, oh, we could have did a little better, it wasn't that great,
a lot better,
but yeah, but then like later we had some people reach out to us like, oh, that was so great,
was so good.
I loved it, you guys are doing
great.
Are you gonna do it again? And like, really? If they just knew how we felt, because we were like, oh my god, it was like, but they loved it. And we actually inspire other friends of ours to start their own business. So
you just never know. So keep going.
Yeah. I feel like you guys really hit the nail on the head. Like, you really just have to jump into things and kind of figure it out as you go, because you're never going to have it all planned out. Something's always going to go wrong. So I feel like a lot of people, especially in our generation, they expect everything to happen fast and everything to happen right on time and happen correctly. But sometimes you just got to jump in and figure it out. And then, like you said, be willing to learn from people. And there's several resources all around. Like, in every city, there's different small business development centers. There's different accelerator programs. You just have to be willing to grind and get it. So I'm really glad that you guys said those things, because a lot of people just think that the success comes overnight, but it doesn't.
I got one more for y'all. Don't be discouraged if the people closest to you don't support you. I feel like a lot of people, they expect like, oh, these my best friend, or, my family, or whatever it is, like, they're going to do it. Honestly, I would say expect those to be the people that will show the least, and not because of, we're not going to make it be anything, but it just seems like it turns out that way. Like, you often find like the people, you're strangers, they're like, we love you guys. Like, we've gone to concerts and seen our shirts. We do not know them. And so we'd be like, hey, that's our company. Like, and it's just like, I think that can be very discouraging. You'll be like, I'm going to start this with, and that these people are going to be the ones, so they're going to 5 shirts. Don't depend on that. Don't depend on that, because your story is probably going to touch the stranger down the street the most, inspire the most. So I think that's a really big part, because that was something that was very big to me.
Yeah, and I don't think it's malicious.
Right? Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, they don't do it on purpose. It's just they know you
for something else.
Know how you are.
Yeah, they're like,
they support you.
But
in other ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we wrap up, we coming to the end right now. Can you guys tell everybody where they can find you all? If you guys want to throw out your individual socials along with Brilliance in Black, where they can find you guys and what you guys got going on?
We're Brilliance in Black on everything.
Okay.
Brilliance in Black on Instagram,
Facebook.
Brilliance in Black. Our
Snapchat.
website, brillianceinblack.com.
Yeah, Brilliance in Black. Yeah. Not Black Brilliance. Yes. Brilliance in Black. If you see her shirt, the brilliance is in the black.
Visionaries.
Brilliance in Black. We're everywhere. We actually were just featured in the DNC Kamala Harris intro. You can find us everywhere, okay? As seen on TV, okay?
That shirt that our co-founder is wearing is available on our website.
Yes, so brillianceinblack.com, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Yeah, you can find us everywhere.
Yes, you will.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you. I'll definitely be copping some merch real soon. So my Brilliance in Black on.
Yes, come on, HU. You know, we got shoes too.
Okay, let's show them.
Okay.
Real quick before you kick us off.
Hey.
No, thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
We had a fun time.
Alrighty, you guys have a good one.
You too.
Be safe.
Alrighty.
Okay. All right.